Okay, I was posed with this question. Welcome back, by the way. I was posed by this question by somebody who I know for a while. Helped kind of train them a little bit. I'm not gonna spill anybody's names or guts because I gotta have some respect because he wrestles under a hood. So I'm not gonna name him off or anything else. He still works to this day, and he's came up a lot. I like him a lot. Him and his partner. That's about all I'm gonna say about him. Are really good. So he asked me this question. He goes, "What is it? I know you like the guy, but what is it about Stan Hansen that you like?" Ooh, Stan Hansen. Let me tell you something about Stan Hansen. Let me tell you why I like him. I can't see without these glasses on. Literally, like I have a vision of like right there. That's when things are in focus. Stan is probably worse than that. Okay, so me being trained in old school wrestling, NWA type style, and trying to draw influences at the time for the southern stuff I was doing at the time, I had to dive into certain guys. So that's what I did. And one of them that I discovered, and I heard about it, but I didn't watch him until later on, was Stan Hansen. And I love the guy. I think he really epitomized the tough as nails mofo, without a doubt. Uh, Gaijin style, All Japan. You watch any of his All Japan stuff, it's like balls to the wall. He comes out in the crowd, hitting fans. Him and Bruiser Brody didn't give a shit. They just did all kinds of crazy shit. But Stan kind of influenced me in a way when I was watching him and when I learned about him. Is he was blind as a bat, and at the time I wasn't wearing contacts, and I was blind as a fucking bat. So like this guy who would go out there and have these tough matches and not really be technical at all and just brawl. That's something else that I kind of fell into. And I liked about Stan Hansen. His brawling abilities are huge. They're great. You know, you watch a Stan Hansen match, you're entertained. But from bell to bell, he was legit. Even before the bell in interviews and stuff, he was legit. You can't. He was like I saw a lot of Terry Funk stuff, and I was like, that dude's legit. Like he's crazy, screw loose, and everything. And then when I saw Stan Hansen, I'm like, that dude's legit too. And these guys are crazy. So when I kind of was influenced by Stan Hansen a bit, because if this guy who's blind as a bat can wrestle and not really kill anybody, like yeah, he dropped Bruno on his head, but that was like when he was green. But if he can go out to Japan and do this and then get over one of the moves that is still over to this day in Japan. If you don't believe me, watch some of the ends to any match, or even Okada. The clothesline, the lariat. It's still over to this day. Why? Because of Stan Hansen. He would hit guys with that and rip their heads off because, one, he couldn't see. Two, he had to make sure he had to make contact, because if he didn't, it looked bad. You can't do that, especially during them days. So, like, he really influenced the Japanese rough and tough style over there, the grittiness. And then, like I said, when I was doing JC, Coltrane, and trying to pull different things from different people, like Terry Funk, Barry Windham, um, Bradshaw, these Southern guys. And it was like, Michael P.S. Hayes. I done a lot of his shit in fucking tag matches. But, especially early on. But, then when I found Stan Hansen, it was like, I had a move, but it wasn't good at the time. Like, it was fine, but it was more of a setup. And I give my buddy Debo credit for it, because it was, at the time, not a lot of guys use it or whatever. He came up with it back in the day, and then some guys, wrestling is like-mindedness, so it's like somebody else is seeing it, and it was a Cobra Clutch side brush and leg sweep, because I love holds, and then you throw this leg sweep in there, awesome, right? But it wasn't getting what I needed. It wasn't there. It wasn't something that people said, "Oh, that's fucking it." I had a clothesline, and I used that as a secondary. And Bill Martell came up to me and goes, "Why don't you use the clothesline instead? Because it looks better, and you can hit it on anybody." So then that's where the Mason-Dixon line came from. And I was like, well, who rips the heads off? Stan Hansen and Bradshaw. And Bradshaw looked at Stan Hansen. So it was like, well, I don't want to hit dudes in the throat like Hansen, but I don't want to also, like, fold them like laundry like Bradshaw. But if I got to fold them, I'd rather fold them instead of crushing their larynx, So I devised a technique for the clothesline. And it's like, when I get to a certain point, you bump. Because if you don't, I rip your head off. Stan Hansen would just whip it at you. It's like, I can't. I've done that a few times, and it wasn't great. But Stan Hansen became an influence because, like I said, he couldn't see. He was a Southern guy from Texas. He just didn't give a fuck. And when he went out there, he was going out there to do his thing. Just like Terry Funk, which is great. I love it. And, it really helped me understand that any walk of life can do wrestling. And there you go. So, Stan Hansen, what I liked about him, he got the clothesline over. He was legit from bell to bell, even before that. If you didn't see him, nice guy outside the ring. Like, I've seen interviews and stuff like that. I'd really like to meet the guy. I got a signed picture of him from when he was a Georgia Championship Wrestling champion. I got that from Roddy Hogan. Like, he was handing out stuff, and everybody was like going through some shit and looking for all these names, and I'm like, that's fucking Stan Hansen. And I got it framed. Because it's, you don't see shit like that every day. And he kind of, studying Stan Hansen and his brawling techniques and everything else is just, a lot of it, when you're old school, is just the feel of it. You just work with it and you feel with it. And Stan felt it. A lot of that stuff that he did, brawling wise, he probably, there was no, I'm going to do this shit to you. It's going to be done. This is what I'm doing. And when you feel that, and you do that, and you do it so good to a point that it's believable, that's where you got him. And that's why I like Stan Hansen. Crazy guy in the ring, nice guy outside. Couldn't see, I couldn't see. Really good. So there we go with that. So I'm going to probably crank out another one here shortly. So, have a good one. Like, share, subscribe.